Hello, everybody. Joe Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. It is Friday. It's been kind of an interesting week. The market's down a little bit. It's very windy here in Dallas. And we're going to have a special for you today on Dallas Trading Floor. I'm going to go over the three most profitable chart patterns and kind of how to recognize them and kind of what to do with them, and what to do with them. But first, before we do that, let's get into the let's get into the into the slides. So here we go on Dallas Trading Floor. Basically, the market direction is we're still in an upward trend, but the market has sort of turned a little bit south. So we are in a situation right now where the market is is moving a little bit lower. The S&P is off today. The Dow, it's still above 30,000, but it's definitely off. There was the people are starting to read through the stimulus plan that Biden is offering, and the reaction, unfortunately, has not been all that good. It looks like we may have we may see some retreat in the plan as some of the details become more more apparent. So we just don't know what's going to happen, but definitely right now the Dow is it's sort of off a little bit, and it's been retreating somewhat. So that's it's not a concern, but it may become a concern if if we go kind of longer on this. Just kind of want to show you where my holdings are currently. There was a pullback, and I was taken out of one of the positions that I was in. It was a Chinese cosmetics company. It pulled back, and unfortunately, I got stopped out, and of course it went the other way. So oh well, c'est la vie. Most of the things that I have today are down. Blank charging is down. It's below that $50 level. Progeny, it's up. Interestingly enough, Progeny has done really well for me. Tesla's down a little bit. It's at 830 when the slide was taken. Seems to be in a range from about 795 up to about 850 or so. I think it's in a trading range. If it moves above about 880, I think that we may see the start of another upward trend. But right now, it's sort of in a consolidated range from about 795 on up to about 880. That seems to be the range for Tesla right now. 10x Genomics, that's up again too. This has been really good. TXG. Unfortunately, I don't think this is extended right now, so there's not really a place to buy it. Unfortunately, I do have a put spread on Amazon. And it's down quite a bit today, and it seems to be trending down. So hopefully it won't get, hopefully that will work. And then what's also kind of been working for me as of late has been GM. So that kind of gives you kind of a overview of sort of where I'm at in terms of in terms of some of the in some of the holdings. Just wanted to kind of show you basically the three most profitable chart patterns, and this is kind of part of my show to show everybody out there. By the way, if you're looking on TikTok and you want to see the slide presentation that I have, super easy to do. Just go to my profile, hit that link, and you'll be able to. There's a link with YouTube that I'm going to be presenting this on. So basically, we have three very prominent chart patterns that we want to always kind of look for. The first here is the cups, either the cup with handle or not the coupe, but it should be the cup without handle, the double bottom, and of course the flat base. So those are the ones that you kind of want to look for. And the question is, what do they look like? How do you look for them? And just the whole thing here. Well, let's look at the most common one. And this is the cup with handle. And the reason I like to show you this is because typically when a stock begins its most powerful movement, it will show this particular chart pattern. So that's why you kind of want to see, kind of take a look to see if you can find these out there. Basically, what happens is typically the big stocks will take a run like this. What'll happen is there'll be a prior uptrend, and it'll be at least 6 weeks or 7 weeks. and then it will start retreating like this, and you'll see this kind of this base length and the depth length there. Then eventually it will pull back up. It will pull back a little bit on the handle, and then at this neckline here, that's where you want to place your buy stop limit order, about 10 cents above the peak in the handle. And that's typically where the greatest strength in the market is right in that particular chart pattern. So just wanted to kind of just review these really quickly with you. The next one, basically the cup with handle pattern needs to have these particular characteristics, to basically to be in there. It needs to have at least a prior uptrend of at least 30%. So it needs to be, moving up and then stall, and then as it comes back. So if we look at that really carefully, we can see, oops, there we go. We can see that, this prior uptrend must be at least 30% top to bottom. Okay, so then after we have that and it starts pulling back again, then the base needs to be at least 15% to 30%, no more than that. But because if it's more than that, really it's going to be retreating, but it needs to be at least 15%. So what I'm talking about here is the base, that this is the base here. So this needs to be at least 15% from here down to here. So it can be from 15 to 30%, but it needs to be at least 15%. And then we have the base length, and that needs to be at least 7 weeks. So, this needs to be at least 7 weeks from here to here. And then as it starts coming back up, typically it will come up just to right, either at or right below where it ended up the prior uptrend. Then it will possibly pull back if it's a cup with handle. And then as it's moving higher over this neckline, then that's the correct place to buy it. So this is the cup with handle, but there is also there's also another excellent pattern called the double bottom, and that's basically this same thing, 7 weeks, so 30% prior uptrend, then a nice depth of at least 15%. But instead of doing a cup action, it will come up, down, and then up again, and then the neckline, and then come down, and then as it comes back for the second time, 10 cents above where that W is on that neckline, that is the appropriate place to buy it. Now, the third chart pattern that I want to show you, of course, is the second stage base. Now, what does it mean by second stage base? Well, typically what will happen is a stock will make a cup or cup with handle, and then it will form this secondary base called this is a consolidated base, where it will sort of come up, and then it will kind of do this for a while, and then it will break out. And wherever it breaks out, of course, is where you want to do it. Now, the reason you want to do a buy stop limit order is you want to make sure that it's broken out of the pattern. And the way you do that is the ideal buy point typically is 10 cents above the peak that you made here. And then it gives you a buying range. And the buying range typically is 5%. This is when I'm talking about 5%. And when I talk about this is what I'm talking about. There's a buy point here, and then basically the ideal places to buy it is from the buy point plus 10 cents up about 5%. So that's the ideal buy point. So that gives you the second stage base, which is usually what they call, this is what I call a consolidation. And that's something definitely worth looking for. Well, so thank you for that. Let's get into some of the questions and see if we can answer some of the questions for you here. And let's look at the first question. Here we go. And this is probably, this is from YouTube. So let me go back over to the tool. And the question is from Alex. Hey, Jim, thoughts on Cohen and Etsy? Thanks so much. Hey, thank you for that too. I really like Cohen. This is COWN, and this is a financial company. It's essentially an investment bank, but it is just looking very strong right now. And let's go take a quick look at that chart pattern here right now. Okay, so basically what it is we don't truly have a cup here because this isn't wide enough. This isn't enough weeks here, but we're going to go to the weekly chart to see kind of what's going on here. This isn't really, this is what they call a consolidation. This is the third of the charts that I showed you. We don't really have a necessarily place to buy it, but we can, on a secondary basis, buy it as it moves above that particular line there. So let's look to see on the daily chart to see if there's anywhere where we can kind of look to see that. Okay, so it's made its peak here at 28.13. So obviously, as it moved 10 cents above this 28.13 or 28.23, that would have been a good place that you could possibly buy it. 91 on the relative strength, so I'm very much liking that. It's a little bit close into earnings at 27 days, but it's still quite a strong chart. So let's kind of look at the particulars on it to see what's going there. It's 100% on the checklist. I really, really like to see it when it's that strong because, 100%, there's not that many out there that are 100%. So if you want to, if you're looking on TikTok and you want to see what symbol I'm talking about, this is COWN, Cohen Incorporated. So let's look at the ownership on it. We have very nice ownership. It's decreasing. It's got 323 funds in it currently. So I'm looking at this and I think this is quite a strong stock. Let's see if we have a good industry sector here. Okay, it's 51 out of 197. So that is definitely within the range here. So everything is looking fairly good with this. Let's look at some of the competition to see kind of how it stacks up against its competition in the particular area that it's in. At 91, it's a little bit lower than Futu and Evercore, but definitely totally in there with all of the other issues. Excuse me, I had to take a drink of water there. I was getting a little bit thirsty. So I like this one very much. Where would I buy this thing? Well, unfortunately, there's no really good chart pattern to buy it on. But because we're above this 28.13, I think you could buy it there. Here's what I would do. It looks like it's consolidating right at about this $30 level. Let's see if this thing pulls back again. If it pulls back a little bit and then reverses, then I think you might have a buy here. I probably wouldn't buy it at $30 just because it's a little bit extended. Not that much, only a little over $1 extended here. But I want to see if this thing pulls back a little bit and then moves higher. It does look like that is indeed a possibility, and it looks like it may bounce off this 10-day line here, which is on the pink, if you can see that when you're on YouTube. So that is where I would probably buy it. So definitely a watch list, Alex. Excellent choice, and great stock. It's just unfortunately we don't have the ultimate pattern to buy it in right now. But let's take a look at Etsy, ETSY. See if there's anywhere we can buy that one. It's pulled back a little bit today. Etsy has. So let's kind of look at that one. Yeah, it's pulled right to the $200 line. It's at 201.85, and it seems to have bounced there. So let's go to the weekly chart to see kind of the general trend here. Unfortunately, the last true buy point on a cup basis was back here at 141. So we're pretty extended from that, and it looks like we're bouncing off this this line here, the 40-day line. We still have a strong relative strength at 96, so that's looking pretty good. Lots of funds in this one, 62%, and it's increasing fund ownership, and also we have increasing sales. So this is looking good, but the problem is we're pretty far extended here. May not be an ideal place to buy it. It does have a 100% checklist though, and that is something that is very, very bullish. And again, look, we have these funds moving in here. So this is definitely one we probably want to consider buying, but we just have to have the right place to buy it. Now it pulls back here, and the top is 198.50. Here's what I would do with Etsy, and I think out of the two between Coin and Etsy, probably Etsy is better, a little bit better. Let's see if this thing reverses and then moves above this 198.50. If it does, then I think we might have the ability to buy it. But right now, with the relative strength line moving in a downward direction, it's probably not an ideal place to buy. So here's another, Alex, you're probably going to have to watch this one too. Sorry about that, too, that you're going to have to watch this until there's a turn. But if they turn higher and they turn above those points, then I think you might have a very good potential to buy. They're both excellent stocks, and it's just the question of the strategy to get into it at the right price on the on that. So let's go back here to I'm looking at some of the people on TikTok, and thank you so much for joining me on TikTok. By the way, I'm also simulcasting this on YouTube if you want to see the charts that I'm showing. Oh, great! I have a question from other. It's hey, it's code. Okay, hey. There we go. Let's see if I can get these back up. So I guess I'm back here. sorry about the sorry about the sorry about the little issues there. Okay, so let's see if we can get the system back up here, and hopefully we'll be broadcasting once again. Oh, let's go into WebEx. Okay, no. All right. There we go. And share the screen out here. All right. Okay. Thanks for holding on, everybody. I appreciate your patience. We lost a contact here a little bit. So let's see if we can get something. Hey, Jim, what about Apple? Let's see if we can take a look at Apple here really quick and see if that'll come up for us. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we're back. We're back up here with Apple. Let's take a look at the weekly chart first. Here's the thing. There is a cup, but it did not break through the neckline, so it's been retreating, and the buy point for Apple is 137. Now, the question is, what can we do there? It only has a relative strength of 69, so that's not looking good, and the checklist, unfortunately, is not looking good either. So let's go back to the daily chart here and see, if there's anywhere we can buy this. Right now, unfortunately, it's just not a chart that you want to buy because the trend, unfortunately, is downward. So with Apple, I think we're going to have to eliminate that. Not, keep it on the watch list, but I think that it's going to be more difficult to, I think it's going to be more difficult to buy that one right now, just because it's definitely weakened significantly, and I think that that is causing some issues with Apple. So let's take a look at OSTK. OSTK, and see what's going on there with OSTK. So it's Overstock. Okay, and that's a good company, obviously. Yep, there we go. The trend is looks like it may be reversing. We do have a 98 on relative strength, which is good. Let's look at the weekly chart. I think, yeah, okay. So we are basically, we've been in this downtrend. It looks like we may be bounced off the 200-day moving average. It's still not really a good idea to buy this, even though it does have a checklist of 77 and a increasing number of funds that are in this one. Here's what I would do on Overstock. I think that you've got to wait on this one. I want to see it move above about 69.23, right about this line. Currently, it's at 59.40, so we're about $10 away. So here's what I would do. I would watch this one. I would set an alert basically for this line here. I would set an alert because I do think that is reversing higher, but I want to see it move above a 69.23 before I'm very interested in it. And also, we're going to look at another one of my favorites. This is Green Dot, GDOT, and this company issues prepaid cards, Visa cards and MasterCards and that kind of thing. And I do like it, even though it, as of late, has been kind of in a funk. I do think, though, it's a good company. And I do think that the overall trend on it is pretty good. Still relatively weak in terms of the relative strength. It's only a 72, but it's in a consolidation. Here's what we want to do. We want to watch this one and wait for it to pull above 64.97. Currently, it's at 53.99. So here's the thing with Green Dot. Let's wait on this one. I do think that it is potentially a good buy. If the economy weakens, this one will do quite well. We have a 7 out of 9 list. So let's, this one is not a buy right yet. Let's wait a little bit on it and see if we can, if we can get back, if it starts moving higher. So that's the key on Green Dot right now. Is basically it's not ready to, it's just not ready to pop, but I think it is getting there. it is definitely good there. So not a good time necessarily to buy Green Dot, but it's a great time to put it on the watch list. I think that that might work very, very well for you on that. So let's see if we can get a question from TikTok. Thanks for waiting. Okay, let's see. Apple is a great long-term hold. Well, yeah, I think it is. But there's a famous. There we go. I think we've got our connection back again. We've had really awful time today with the connection, but I think I think it is it is a great long-term stock, but the problem is it's run up a lot, and I think it needs a time to rest. Not every stock is going to be 100% at all times. So here's my thing with Apple: until it moves above that buy point at 137, I think you probably want to keep it on your watch list, but not buy it. All right, question for TENB. Let's take a look at TENB really quickly. And this is for K. Thank you, K. TENB is the symbol for that. Tenable Holdings, and it's a cybersecurity solutions platform. And let's kind of look at it. I want to look at the weekly chart. I'm not familiar with this, but the chart's kind of looking interesting to me. We've got an 88 relative strength, liking that. That's very good. We do have a little bit of a consolidation there at about the $50 level. So let's see if it has a place that we can buy it. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. So it had a double bottom. Remember, this is the sharp pattern that I was showing you earlier, this double bottom pattern. And if you can see this here, you might want to, I can switch it back and show you kind of what this is, what kind of pattern this is. And this is always a really good pattern to buy off of, by the way. And that is the double bottom pattern. So I'm going to switch over to that and show you kind of the formation that this is in. So you can see it's this double bottom, this prior uptrend, and then the pullback. This depth has to be between 15 and 30%, and then it comes up again, forms that neckline, comes back like that, and then up again. This is definitely the case for for this particular stock. As you can see, it definitely did this kind of motion. It went down here, up, down, and then up again, and then it formed this neckline at 39.87. Now, as you can see, it just sprung off of that, sprung through that buy point and made this very nice upward momentum. Okay, this is one of the reasons why you want to look at those base patterns, is because you can see that's how they operate. If you can see this double bottom, this is one of the three best, and it pulls above that neckline, then it has the potential to just really move higher, and it definitely did. Now, it peaked out here at about 56.59 and then pulled back to the 10-day line, as you can see there, and then it sort of is kind of consolidated along that 10-day line. Now, can you buy it there? Well, technically, this is not a good place to buy it because it's very, very far extended from the last buy point, which was this neckline on the double bottom formation. So here's the thing: it looks like a very good stock, but I wouldn't buy it at this time. I think it got a watch list. This, unfortunately, very nice sales growth, and it has good fund sponsorship. As you can see, it's 382 on that. So that's quite good. Here's the thing on this. I think you're going to have to wait. It's a little bit extended for my liking. I think you're going to have to wait on that, unfortunately, with that. So it's kind of a, it's not necessarily a good thing. I think you're really going to have to wait on this one. All right, and Biden winning all the electric vehicles will do well. Well, yes, I think they will, but I also believe, by the way, and this is true, and I'm heavily invested in Tesla right now, but I do think that you're going to see some of the legacy companies like GM move into this space. The vehicle, the problem now is that, it's not just, do you have an electric vehicle? The thing is, can you produce an electric car? That's the main thing. And right now, I think you're going to have to look at some of the domestics. Here's what I would look at if you didn't get in on Tesla. You can still buy Tesla at this point, but it's going to be much harder for Tesla to double. I would and the problem with NIO is that all their sales pretty much are in in China, but they do have some sales, of course, that they're starting in Europe, and that's looking very good. But for electric vehicles, I think that you've got to look really to General Motors to have some of the other some of the sales of electric vehicles going forward. And I think this company will do very well. If you can look at the chart, you can kind of notice that the kind of notice the spike in terms of the the spike of volume there, and as well as we have a nice 88% relative strength. This is also a $50 stock, and it is pulled right above. And again, this is another example. I want to show you this example again. Kind of an interesting thing. This is a cup pattern without handle, and you can see this is the neckline. Let me kind of show you exactly how to pull this off, Kay, with the electric vehicles. Let me show you kind of how this is a cup and then cup with handle. Let me show you kind of what we're talking about here when we're talking about a base pattern. The base pattern for this essentially is like this formation that I have here, and that basically without this, but it's come up here and it's come up, and then it's right to this neckline. But instead of pulling back, sometimes they just continue on up. That's why this is the correct buying point. This plus 10 cents. So with General Motors, you can definitely see this. You see how this basically happened here. I'm going to show you. This is also on the daily chart, but it also works on the weekly chart. As you can see, there was a cup here, and then it came right up to the neckline, and then it moved up. Now it's stalled a little bit here, but it's very likely to go up from here. So next place that you want to buy General Motors potentially is right about at this level here at about 51.31. So I'm going to draw a line at that level. Hopefully it'll work. There we go. And then if it moves above that, that's another potential follow-on buy point. But really, the ideal place to buy it is from about 46.71 on up about 5%, and then as you can see, it just stops right at that 5% level. So if you're looking for an EV company, you might want to look at some of the domestics right now because they're looking quite good. They're quite good. So let's look at two more. Matt, thank you very much for this. DYN. Let's look at DYN here. DYN is the symbol for Dyne Therapeutics. It is a life sciences company. And let's kind of look at the weekly chart first to see if if that makes any sense. Oops, there we go. Okay, so definitely it does. This is what they call an IPO base. As you can see, it's very short. It IPO'd, and when IPO'd at $19, and then it immediately went up. It's in this consolidation range from here to here, as you can see, and it's going to break out. It's looking like it's just breaking out of that. So this is definitely one that I think bears some interest. Nice fund sponsorship. I'm going to put this down on my watch list because this is the kind of thing, this is the kind of chart that I like to see. DYN. This is breaking out from an IPO base. It's still a little bit weak in terms of the relative strength at 72, but for an IPO, that's excellent. 49% funds in this, so this is looking very, very strong. Let's look at the checklist. The checklist is 5 out of 9. That's a little bit less than I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it 6 out of 9, but it is an IPO. And we do have this nice funds ownership. So you know what? If you're interested in buying this one, you definitely could at this point. The key level on this one is the first stage consolidation base at 27.11. So that is a very, very good question. I'm going to put DYN buy point is equal to 27.11. Look at that. That is great. That is a great price there, 27.11. So that's looking pretty good. I'm going to put that out there on the chat for everybody. And by the way, if you're looking on TikTok and you want to look at the actual charts that I'm showing, you can easily do that. Just jump over to YouTube, and the easiest way to do that is to go to my profile, hit that link, and you will see the YouTube feed on it. You can just hit right on that, and you'll get that feed again. So hopefully it's working. We had a power outage here earlier, so I apologize for that. It kind of took some of the systems down. Let's look for Matt again at CTLT to see if there's anything that we can see there. CTLT. And there we go. Interesting. Clinical services to marketers. Interesting. I like these. I really like the stuff that you're putting up here. This is nice. This is an 80. This is actually a better chart. Yeah, this is an 80. This is very, very good. This is on the weekly chart. You're just shy of the breakout on a cup base, second stage, 120.48. It's at 115. Now, could we buy this? Well, let's look at the daily chart to see if there's any entry point in here. You know what? It looks as if there is. Wow. Okay, it did gap up to this 120.48, so the resistance is there, but we're kind of above that. So, very interesting. Here's the thing. I would consider this. I would consider this. It looks as if there's lower volume. I'm liking that. That means it's getting ready to make a move. Here's what you could do. You could put in. Here's what I would probably do with this. With this one, I would put in a. Oops, that's the wrong price. I would put in a buy stop limit order on this one, and I would put it in right about 120.58. That's where I would put it. That's where I would save. That's where I would put the buy stop limit order on this one. As it breaks through this. Oops, come on, baby. It's not working today. Oh goodness. As it breaks through this line here, this 120 line, that's where you want to buy it. And you want to buy it on higher volume. But right now, this is showing really good. It's got that decreasing volume, which I'm liking to see. And then hopefully when it starts moving, it will move fast and it will move above that line. But I wouldn't buy it until it goes above 120. So look at the volume very carefully here, and you might have a buy. I think this is an excellent one. Thank you very much for bringing this up. I'm going to put this down on my list. CTLT as well. I think that's ripe for a breakout, and very nice. Thank you for bringing that. Thank you very much for bringing that to the attention. Our attention. All right, so let's see. Space. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Will, for sticking with me. With my electrical system that seems to go down. This is Virgin Galactic, of course. It's pulled back a little bit today. But this one could be really significant. I don't know if you've been watching the news or not. You probably have if you're into this. But it looks as if Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin is going to be had a very successful test. So the private space race is definitely heating up. It's a 96. Wow, this is up tremendously. Good. So good things are happening. Let's look at the weekly chart. Here's the thing about this one. Wow, weak as owie. It's right above that buy point. You know what? It's a little bit extended, but if you want to take a little bit of a risk, the buy point on this 27.55. It's at 30.54. It's up $5.32. Look at that. Wow. Okay, we're 41 days. Here's, this might be a good strategy. It might be a good strategy. I think that you can buy this thing. Now it's extended. Now don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Space is extended. All right. Normally you don't want to buy like this. SPCE is extended. Currently, I mean, it definitely is. It definitely is extended. So you don't necessarily want to. Oops, I'm doing too many things here. But the question is it buyable or not? I do think it's buyable. I really believe it. I really believe that it's buyable at this point. I really believe it. And you don't want to hold it more than 41 days. That's key here. But I think that you could actually buy this thing and you might do well on this. I'm really liking this chart action. So yeah, I think this is absolutely buyable at this point. I think this is buyable, believe it or not. I wouldn't hold it more than 41 days though, because you don't want to hold it through earnings, because that could be a problem. But that's actually looking fairly decent. I can't believe it. Okay, hi Jim. Red day today. Yeah, definitely. Thoughts on Blink? Well, Blink's been pulling back. I have one. I sold one position. I sold a position on Wednesday because I no I'm because I was called out. I sold a position. I still have one more position of it. It's pulled back a little bit. I do have a call option on it that expires on January 29th at 50. So I may not get that. But let's look at Blink, BLNK. And, this is a volatile stock. It's not going to go straight up or straight down. It's just going to kind of move around. But let's look at the weekly chart is still very good, 47.38. It's up $3.33 for the week. So I think what you're concerned about is the daily chart. And a daily chart, and this is not necessarily a bad chart. It's pulled back to the 10-day line, but it still has a relative strength of 99. So here's the thing. If it bounces off of this, you might want to put a buy stop limit order in here. And I know this sounds very strange, but right about here, so I'm going to set the alert there at that level. And I do think that you can buy Blink with a buy stop limit order at about, and let me give you a price on that. I'm going to say right about here, about 51.80. So what I would consider doing on this one, because I do like this one, by the way, and I do think it has it does have some potential here. So I would be looking at putting a buy stop limit order in here for Blink at about 51.80. That's where I would kind of look to put it, would be about 51.80, and that would be right about at this level here. There we go. Come on, let's get it. Yep, they're about this level here. So I think if it moves above that, you see it's pulled back, but if it reverses, then I think it's probably going higher. And the reason I do think this is because you can see, we can connect the dots here. Oops. And you can see this is the trend line. What's happened is it came up, and it was, I've drawn this a little bit steep, but let's pull this back. Yeah. So I guess the trend line is more like this. Yeah, the trend line is more like this, you see. And then it pulled up to here, it bounced, it's going to come down, and then I think it's going to bottom right here, and then it should bounce up higher. So here's what we want to do. We want to wait and then have this thing reverse, and then if it reverses, I think that you want to, you might want to buy it at about 51.80. So that might be a good level for that. But I don't think it's it's done by any stretch of the imagination. It has a 99 relative strength, and it's quite a strong stock. So it's a little bit thin in terms of its size, but it's still quite good. So that's my thoughts on Blink. So it definitely is a red day today. Palantir, let's take a look. It's up today. Let's hold it or sell it. Here's the thing I recommend on Palantir. This is, and I've been bucked out of this one a few times. I still really like the stock. Let's look at the weekly here to kind of look at this, Harris, to see if we can kind of get an idea here. But this is actually, it looks as if it is hugging this 50-day line here. That's the red line. And it looks like it's moved higher. I don't think you want to sell this right away. I think what you want to do is you probably want to push the stop loss up. And I would set my stop loss for Palantir at about 24. So what I would be doing here is I would set for Palantir, set stop loss at, and I'm going to say, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna set that stop loss right about 23.75, 23.75, and see and see if that'll work, because that's kind of where I would set my stop loss at about 23.75. That's right about here. That's right. That's right in here. I do think it's bouncing off this line, and I think it will move higher. But that would be my play in the short term for Palantir. And I don't think you want to sell it, because I think it is potentially going higher. I definitely think it is going higher. Great question. And this is a question for buy points for GBTC and Riot. Let's look at Harris. Let's look at GBTC first. I was looking at this today. I have a buy stop limit order in on it. Because I do think that it did pull back, but I think it's I think it's potentially going to pull back up again. So let's kind of look at the weekly to see here. It looks as if it's pulled back right to the 21-day line. That's right here. So where can we buy this thing? Because I do think we want to buy this. I think there's increasing interest in Bitcoin. Here's the thing. I want to buy it as it moves above this 10-day line. So my buy point is right about here. And I'm going to set an alert on that. So I'm looking at a potential buy point for GBTC so let me see if I can. So for GBTC, buy point on this one, I want to do a buy stop limit order at I'm looking at on this one as it comes right above the 10-day exponential, about 40.48. So at 40.48, and that's kind of where I'm looking to see. Let's get that up there. No, it didn't come. It didn't work. About 40.48 on that. That's where I'm looking to. That's where I would be looking to it. But I do think that you don't want to get out of that one. Let's look at Riot or IoT, Riot blockchain, and that's pulled back as well today. So let's look at Riot blockchain. Let's look at the weekly chart first to see. Yeah, this is a tough chart to buy. All right, this is the weekly chart. It's interesting. Let's look at the monthly chart to kind of get an idea. Yeah, it seems it still has a downward trend on that monthly. Let's go back to the daily, see if there's any place we can buy this thing. Wow, it looks like it's just bouncing off this 21-day line. Here's the thing. I think with Riot blockchain, I think you're going to have to wait until it forms a base. That's what I would do. I'd watch list it, but I would I definitely would buy this one right now. Just wouldn't buy this one right now. Oh, another question for Harris. I probably got to get somebody else, other people here. I appreciate you logging in. How high can GM go? It can go very high. I mean, I think it could easily go over $100, but it's not going to happen overnight. It's much more of a slow-moving stock, much larger in terms of its overall ownership. So it could definitely double, I think. Question. Just father of two. Is NEO for real or just hype? Well, it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. NEO has been doing great. It is essentially, it's sort of the Chinese Tesla. And it definitely can go higher. I have some concerns about NEO though. One of them, and these are not technical concerns. These are fundamental concerns. And normally I don't talk about this, but part of the problem is that the Chinese stocks are going to have to start using generally accepted accounting principles, and that may cause a problem for a stock like NEO. We still have a very strong relative strength at 99. So, but it has pulled back today to this 57.20. This is the key level here. So this is the key level. Can we buy it right now? No, we're going to have to wait until it pulls back and reverses. But here's the thing. This is one of the reasons why I keep putting up this thing for the buy stop limit. So if we were looking to do this with NEO, buy stop limit order probably should be set for basically 10 cents above 57.30, or 57.40. So that's kind of where I would, that's sort of where I would put the NEO buy stop limit order would be about at 57.40, about right here, and then this has basically a buy zone here, as you can see. So that's that little kind of blue area. So if I were, but here's the thing about NEO, I think you got to be really careful with NEO. It's a lot of hype. And they can. One of the things about NEO is that they are producing vehicles, so it's not like some of the other ones, like Fisker or something like that, that can't produce vehicles. They are actually producing vehicles, so it definitely can make money on NEO. I've been in and out of it. I'm not in it currently, but I am waiting for it to possibly get a second chance and move through the 57.20 buy point. And if it does, that's why the buy stop limit works, is because the way the buy stop limit works is that as it moves above, it activates and then it will buy it as it's moving higher. You always want to try to buy a stock as it's moving higher, and the buy stop limit can be a good way to go on that. All right, so questions on Zoom. Thanks, Mr. Reddy. Appreciate that. Let's look at Zoom. Zoom had just a tremendous, and I think that, because it's become so big, it could even become bigger, but it has been in a funk as of late. So let's look at the chart. This is the weekly. As you can see, we have a downward trending chart, and I'm just not a fan of buying of buying downward trends. I just don't like to do them, even though it's pulled up today to the 50-day moving average. That's this red line. I'm still not a fan of it. But look at the sales; they're just off the chain with this. There's just very, very good sales, but the trend overall, unfortunately, on it is down. I don't like to see that. 93 is the relative strength, so that's still very strong. Checklist is 77, which is also very, very good as well. But here's the thing: I would wait on this one. I want to wait to see a reversal and a move higher. Right now, we are in a downward trend, as you can see from this daily chart. And it looks as if it is moving, but I want to see it move above this line here. So what would I do? Well, I really want to see a reversal, but the reversal is going to have to come if it moves above about that 400 level. So here's what I would do with Zoom. I do think it's buyable, by the way. I do think, I do think it is buyable, but I think what you're going to have to do on it is, possibly to set a buy stop limit order for Zoom. And with ZM, I would set a buy stop limit order above 400 at about $410. That's kind of where I would want to show that. So if I were gonna on a reversal pattern here, I want to see it reverse higher. It's not quite there yet, but if it moves higher over about $410, that's probably where I would be in it. I think that we may have a reversal there. If it fails and it doesn't reverse, then of course it wouldn't activate. You don't want to put buy stop limit orders in for more than a day. You just kind of want to do them on it each day and then reevaluate it each time. So this might be a good way that you could get a reversal on Zoom. And it does look like it may make a reversal as well. So that is pretty good. Thank you very much. Oops. Did I? Yeah, I did. Sometimes I'm kind of outsmart myself there. All right, so let's look at the next question, and that is Qualcomm. Qualcomm is sitting in a pivot. I have a buy limit at 161.51. Very good. What are your thoughts on dipping it just below the pivot? Yeah, absolutely. No. This is very good, Byron. This is it's the art and science of it. This is the art of it. The science is, you're definitely there with the science of it. I think that might not be a bad idea. I think that might not be a bad idea at all. So let's look at Qualcomm. I'm just going to move over to the Qualcomm chart, QCOM, and that is, there we go, Qualcomm. Let's look at that. Yeah, I see how it penetrated. I could see how it just penetrated above the 161 and then it pulled back. So yeah, I definitely think you could move it down. I definitely think there's a bit of a, there's a bit of a consolidation here. Oops, there we go. Come on. There we go. So I definitely think that, yeah, you might be a little bit early, but I do think that might work. That's a very good call, by the way. We have a very nice flat base with 161.07. So I definitely think you could do that. That looks to be like a very good plan, Byron. Very, very good plan. And then, here's the thing. And one of the things is that, when it reverses, it will reverse higher, but you always want to buy it on the reversal so you get that extra little bit up. And that looks really good. And Qualcomm is a quality stock. So I think if you bought at this level, you'd be I think it would work very well. Very well. Thank you so much for that question. That is a very good, that's a very good question there on that. Well, okay. So I have one last question. I'm sorry that I had so much problem with the electrical today. Gosh, shouldn't have it, but let's look at this last question. Thanks you for XX Sweat TTV, like that. Can you please check out BCRX? Let's look at BCRX. BCRX. BioCryst Pharmaceutical develops novel small molecule drugs that block key enzymes involved in the pathogens of diseases. Wow, I guess I didn't do very well enough in biology. Okay, interesting. There's a buy point on a consolidation at $6.29. It's got a 95 relative strength. Look at that. Wow, look at that go. Okay, well, it looks as if it could move above about 880, you might have something there. Now, normally I don't like to buy stocks below $10. I'll be honest with you, but this is 7 out of 9, so that's very good. Let's just have any fund. Yes, it has a lot of fund ownership. You know what? And look at these sales. You know what? Here's what you might want to try doing on this weekly chart. I'm gonna do it on the weekly chart because I think it's easier on the weekly chart. But I'm gonna set an alert right there for that. But basically, what I think you want to look at is possibly doing a buy stop limit order at about, is that about $9? Where is that? Oops. See if I can get the about $9.25. So here's what I would do if I were looking to buy this one. This is not on any of my watch lists. This is just, kind of a suggestion and nothing more than that. So for on a buy stop limit on this one, BCRX buy stop limit, what I would put in would be about $9.25. So that, that might work very, very well right about at this level. So very, very interesting. This is an interesting stock, and it looks like you might have a winner there. Normally, I don't go in for stocks. I don't go in for stocks like this. To be honest with you, I just don't. But on this one, hey, it might be the thing. Well, I'm at an hour, so I've got to sign off for today. I won't be back on Monday because it's Martin Luther King's holiday, and unfortunately, the markets are going to be closed. But I will be back on Tuesday with some more stuff. And of course, if you want to get on the action trade alerts, it's super easy to do. All you have to do is go to www.Dallas Trading Floor to get on the action trade alerts. And also, if you would like to look at all the past stuff on YouTube, very easy to do. It's youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. And of course, we'd love it if you subscribe. That would be great too. So without further ado, until Tuesday at 2:30, hopefully the electric gods will honor me with constant electricity. But till then,